When Job was at the worst point in his life, he had 3 guys that did nothing but sit there with him. They just came and sat there. They didn't even say a word. Sometimes we don't have to say a word to refresh someone. Sometimes they just know, hey, somebody cared enough to show up. Somebody was here whenever I was having to go through a rough time. But guys, let me remind you again. If you're going through anything that's affecting you, death in the family, an illness, just feeling troubled, beat down, worn out, please ask. Okay? Do what Paul would do. He may have been super apostle, but he wasn't afraid to say, I need some help. In the same way, ask for some help, and we will help you. We will do whatever we can. We will literally bend over backwards if we have to help you. You can ask for help. A couple of stories, and then we'll be ready to dismiss. Everyone needs some recognition for their accomplishments sometimes, but a few people will make their need known. One day, a father decided that he wanted to do something with his son, but didn't really know what to do. And then the little boy's like, "Well, Dad, you're just watching TV today. Let's do something fun together." And he goes, "Okay, well, what do you want to do, son?" And he's like, "I'm ready to help you out. What do you want to do together?" And the boy says, "Let's play darts, Dad. I like to play darts." And then the dad says, "Okay, son, we can do that." And he says, "Here's what we're going to do, Dad. I'm going to throw darts, and you're going to tell me I'm doing a great job." That's what we need, though, isn't it? Everybody can tell you how rotten you are, and what a bad job you did, and how you didn't do something. Oh, and you missed this, and what about that? But you know what? One of my friends always says, look at the big picture. You know, don't look at every brush stroke. Look at the big picture. You get up too close to the picture, and you lose sight of what you're really looking at. And you see, oh, there's a mistake here. And people who criticize art, that's what they do. They'll take a little jeweler's loop, and they'll get right up on it. Oh, yeah, his brush strokes right here. They're a little deep right here, a little cover. Oh, and they get right up, and they don't even notice that it's a work of art. They miss the point because they don't see the larger picture. There was a lady, her name was Jean Nidetek. I don't know how to say her last name, to be honest with you. She was a 214-pound homemaker, and she was desperate to lose weight. And she went to the New York City Department of Health, and she was given a diet that was designed by Dr. Norman Joliffe. And 2 months later, discouraged about the fact that she still had 50-plus pounds to go, she invited 6 other overweight friends to her house to share the diet with her and to talk about how to stay on the diet. Today, 28 years later, 1 million members and 25,000 Weight Watcher meetings in 24 countries every week, she was able to help other people take control of their lives. And to answer why that happened, she told the story, and she says, when I was a teenager, she used to come across a park where she saw mothers gossiping while the toddlers would sit on their swing set with no one to push them. And I would just come and just give that child a push. And then, you know what happens whenever you give a kid a push on a swing? Pretty soon he's pumping his arms and legs and he's starting to swing all by himself. And that's what I realized what my role in life is. I'm just here to give other people a push. See, that's what we're here to do. Not a shove, not a "Argh!" Instead, you just come and you just give them a little push, and then they start moving again all by themselves. CBS anchor Dan Rather, used to be the anchor for CBS, told a story about how he used to be a boxer. He was a Golden Gloves boxer early on, and he used to enjoy boxing for the sport and for the activity as well. And he would box, and he said that it's a unique sport because in the ring you're all alone, but everyone's yelling at you at the same time. And he said, so there you are, you're just you and your fists, and you're just trying to make the better of the other guy with you and these boxing gloves that you have, and trying to win this battle that you have. And he said, here I was, and I got popped in the jaw, and boom, down I went to the canvas. He said, I'm laying on the canvas, my head was spinning, and I didn't quite know exactly what to do. And he says, as I glanced over, my trainer was over there yelling, get up! Get up! Get up! Simple instructions. And there's a guy counting, 6, 7. And Dan said he stood up to his feet and he got his composure for a second, and they give him a standing 8 count, let him get his composure for 8 seconds, get him back in there, and he ends up losing the fight anyway. But he said, you know what? Sometimes all it takes is that person yelling, get up, and you'll get up. In the same way, we don't have to yell at people, but we're trying to bring encouragement. We're trying to say, hey, I was watching the show Contender the other day, where they were boxing. And there was this one guy, and he was boxing, he was a showboat, woo, he was dancing, but he was losing the fight. I mean, the other guy was popping him and beating him up, and then he danced back, woo, he'd be dancing around. And then the trainer got in the corner, and he was yelling at him between the first and second round. He's like, you're losing! He and he goes back out of the second round, he's doing the same thing. The guy's like, wake up! And then he comes back after the third round. Literally, the trainer takes his hand, open palm, pow! Pops him right in the mouth. He says, wake up! You're losing the fight. But sometimes you're losing the fight. And you just need somebody to say, wake up! Get up! Keep fighting. You know what? When Paul was in Rome, one of the last things he ever wrote was, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. Right? He said, I kept doing it. I didn't give up. You can buy me to the wall. I didn't quit. But why did he didn't quit? Because somebody else would encourage him. Because somebody else was in his corner yelling, get up! Go fight! You're losing! Wake up! You ever seen the Rocky movies whenever they would do that? Rocky! I'd love to show you a clip, but I haven't quite got everything set up yet for that. But I mean, that's what Rocky lost the fight, right? But you couldn't tell. At the end of the first fight, you didn't know he lost because he's the one that's dancing all over the place. Right? Because she encouraged him. Right? And that's actually told from a true story. I don't know if you knew that or not, but Rocky was actually from a boxer named Chuck Wepner, who actually fought Muhammad Ali and stayed in the ring with him for 15 rounds and almost beat him. And so that's where he got the idea to write that story from. It's from a true story of a man who said, I'm just going to keep swinging. You know what? Sometimes we don't have a whole lot left, but we just keep swinging. You know, we might be throwing haymakers at the devil, but we're swinging. You know, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to take it on the chin. He says, I fought the fight. I kept the race. I finished the race. I kept the faith. Yes. But you know what? The only way we can keep our faith is when someone else builds it. It's when somebody else encourages it. It's when somebody else says, you're doing a good job. Or I'm proud of you. See, there's something to be gained from the fact that it doesn't matter how old you are. I'm not giving up. I still got something else I can pull out of this. There's something else I can add. There's something else I can encourage. There's some other way I can build someone up. That's what we're supposed to be doing, guys. We're not here to beat each other down and tell each other how horrible they are. If we see something that's sin in their life, we're supposed to correct one another in love. In love. Not just beat each other down. Some of us need refreshing. Some of us need to know that the Holy Spirit's got something for us that goes beyond just showing up for church and listening to a guy preach. That our walk every day, on Tuesday afternoon, when your boss is yelling at you, you need someone to encourage you. You pick up the phone, you call someone, you say, hey, I just went through a rough time right now. Can I talk to you for a minute? And you don't have any idea what that can do to thrust you forward.